Welcome back. In this lesson, we're diving into public relations, also known as PR, and influencer marketing. These are two channels that work very well because of one interesting thing about humans. We are heavily influenced by the recommendations of others, even if the person making the recommendation is a complete stranger. And the data backs this up. 90% of people claim to trust a brand more when it's recommended by someone else. Again, even if they don't know the person making the recommendation. With PR and influencer marketing, other people are recommending your project in articles, videos, or social media posts. These recommendations can increase the trust backers have for your project and drive new pledges to your campaign. And in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to tap into the power of PR and influencer marketing. More specifically, you're going to learn how to get your campaign shared by influencers and how to get press coverage. Let's start with how to get your campaign shared by influencers. Influencers come in all sizes, so let's talk about the different types out there. As you can see, there are 5 main types of influencers ranging from nano to mega, all separated by how many followers they have. Now, here's the thing. While mega, macro, and mid-tier influencers might seem more enticing because of their follower count, I recommend setting your sights on micro and nano influencers. Why? Because micro and nano influencers are 1, easier to reach, 2, typically have much higher engagement, 3, specialize in specific topics or industries, and 4, are more open to commission agreements. So for all these reasons, micro and nano influencers usually deliver a much higher return on investment than their counterparts with more followers. But wait, how do you go about finding these influencers? Well, for example, let's say you're launching a camera bag like our client, The Top Shelf. Here's how I'd go about finding influencers. Start with YouTube. Search for camera bag review and voila, you'll find a list of YouTube channels that you can reach out to. You can do the same thing on TikTok or Instagram, by the way. And once you've found your influencers, it's time to reach out. But how do you make your outreach stand out from the crowd? Well, when reaching out, I recommend keeping it personal instead of formal. Show that you've done some research on the influencer. Compliment their work and explain why your product aligns with their audience. But here's a very important thing to know. Influencers rarely work for free, so be prepared to invest something. Now, how much, you might ask? Based on Shopify's recent data, the going rate is about $100 per 10,000 followers. But remember, as I said before, nano and micro influencers are more open to commission agreements, so consider setting up a referral marketing program. Lastly, know that not every influencer will say yes, but when they do, it's like having a trusted partner that you only have to pay when they get you a sale. All right, with influencer marketing covered, let's move on to getting press coverage for your campaign. The first thing you'll want to do is create a press kit. This is simply a collection of assets like photos or videos that journalists and media outlets want. It's honestly really easy to make. Create a folder on something like Google Drive or Dropbox and fill it with photos and videos of your product. Then place it at the bottom of your campaign page and link to it. For example, here's what it looked like on the campaign page for EcoTrek, which was one of the campaigns we worked on. If we go to the Kickstarter campaign page and click on the press kit, we can see a collection of images that journalists could use in their articles. With the press kit made, it's now time to reach out to some journalists. But how do you know who to reach out to? Well, the easiest way to figure out who to reach out to is to go to the campaigns who have the same audience as you and see who covered them. For example, let's say you have an outdoor product that would appeal to EcoTrek's audience who I just showed you. You could go to their Kickstarter campaign and see who they were featured by. EcoTrek got covered by Men's Journal, Outside Magazine, Forbes, Gear Junkie, and a few others. Next, let's go to Google and find these articles. For example, I can type in EcoTrek Gear Junkie and see that an article pops up. Let's click on it, then click on the journalist's name, then click on one of his social profiles. I'll choose LinkedIn. From here, you can send the journalist a message. Just like influencers, you want to keep the message personal instead of formal. Show that you've done some research on the journalist and explain why your project aligns with their audience. Also, include a link to your press kit in your outreach message. Lastly, remember that outreach is a numbers game. Not everyone will respond, but the more you reach out, the higher your chance of getting coverage. Okay, one last tip before we wrap up this lesson. It's normal for both journalists and influencers to request samples or prototypes of your product. But the thing is, most creators don't have many prototypes to spare. Keep this in mind and only send prototypes to journalists or influencers that you believe will give you the highest return on your investment. Plus, I recommend asking them to return your prototype after they review it. All right, that does it for this lesson on PR and influencer marketing. We'll see you in the next one.